Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 2021 Huck Central presented by Southern Wesleyan University. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, here for the back nine of the single camera coverage of the MPO lead card, and I've got a very special guest commentator,
Hello.
none other than Hannah McBeth. Hannah, your first full round of post-production commentary.
First time ever doing a whole 10 on post-produced coverage.
Wow, what an honor. We are here for the action. 320 feet. What's their play?
So the green does slope down a little bit behind the basket. I think Randon is going to go up and over everything.
Yeah, it seems like the right hyzer is the most effective route. We've seen that quite a bit in the first few rounds.
Yeah, you just need to bring it in a little bit slow, and he does. Yeah, so when the disc is dropping out of the sky, for lack of any other terms or jargon, you want the rotations to come off of it pretty quickly so that it doesn't hit and keep moving.
This isn't Mythbusters. You're not trying to get all the science out on us in
I'm
one.
always trying to get all this.
That is a great point.
If I can do one service to the world, it's teach them what Paul has taught me. Okay, so none of this is my knowledge. It's just knowledge that I've learned from him.
Well, that makes you smart as well, then, because he seems to get things done. We haven't talked much about it, but Evan Scott, the young 16-year-old, he's pushing forward. He struggled a little bit during the latter half of the front nine, but Paul and Randon just 2 strokes apart, and it's been kind of quietly happening.
MJ taking a little bit more of a traditional route, just going straight for the basket. Circle 2 putt, no problem. Look at this weather that downhill, swirling winds, and he's just like, oh yeah, another day in the office. Cash.
Rings it up. That was a good pun on the ringer. Evan follows up with a birdie of his own.
I want everyone in the comments to try to outdo Terry with his ringer pun. So what is your favorite disc? And turn it into a pun for me, and I'm going to enjoy my time reading through all of these comments.
Oh, wow, that's a pretty big call.
Disc puns. We want all of the disc puns.
Oh, and that was a sneeze. I had full blown. There was no editing possible there.
No problem.
That was mid sneeze for his birdie attempt, and that's a star frame. Pretty impressive as we move over to hole number 11.
Hole number 11 is a par 4, 580 feet. You want your first shot to be somewhere either around here or through this gap, because you have a very tight wooded fairway that slopes down just a bit, and then a green that's very tricky. A lot of movement on that green. A lot can go wrong in this hole. This hole gives me nightmares still to this day.
Wow, well, just do what Randon did. Gave it a full send, and then right as he got to the mouth, it actually kicked back into the fairway for him. I'm not sure you can really count on those, but that was a great shot. Or at least a great result.
This is a problem we saw a little bit on the front nine, too. He's just turning it over a little bit too fast. Not giving it enough room to come out.
If you don't find center fairway here, I feel like you'd rather be left than right, because if you're pinched up to the right side, you have to fight through the trees or just lay up. You got a few more options when you're left of center.
I like this forehand play. Lay it up to the mouth, and like you said, good angles all the way. Yeah, MJ's going to be a little bit pinched off, but he does have a strong forehand, so we'll see how he scrambles from there.
Needs it. Oh, and that was looking good.
That's just the next thing you need to do is just get past all of that wooded fairway and get yourself onto the green for a putt. This is a tough par 4.
It really is.
Shot ever. Paul McBeth.
What did you say?
He said, "Are you ready for the shortest shot ever?" I said, "Here it is, the shortest shot ever by Paul McBeth."
Wow.
Ouch.
Shanked the heck out of this shot.
Well, he recognizes the mistake. Pulled it to the right twice, he says, in rounds 1 and 2. Now this is to get up and down and save his par.
That's a straight zone shot.
Just those ones. Those are the only things in the way.
He just fades out a little bit too soon. Needed a little bit more power, but tough technical wooded shots. I love the MJ commentary. We ought to give him a shout out in the beginning of these videos.
That's a good call. Just right there in parentheses. And MJ. This is Randon after his tee shot. Let's see if he can take advantage of it.
That's really well done. I don't know where his disc ended up, but as you can see, it drops off pretty quickly behind the basket, and I'm thinking he went somewhere down there.
Yeah, he did. He went deep and to the right, kind of where the sunshine is at the 1 o'clock position.
Spoilers, Terry.
This is Paul now to save his par.
That was such a great bid for par. Oh man, that was so good. Anything less than perfect is not okay with Paul McBeth for good reason,
Well,
but still, that was looking really good for a
He is
second.
watching. Oh, and
Wow.
what a Evan. We'll show him how it's done. Taking the birdie. So Paul is perfect on hole 11 on Saturday. He is a perfect bogey for bogey on back-to-back rounds, unfortunately.
Yeah.
He's only had a few blemishes all day thus far, and they've both been here.
Tough hole for MJ as well.
And you called it. Randon had gone deep of the pin. He's got this coming back up just about circle's edge. This is for birdie.
Yeah, not ideal footing, a little bit slippery down there, a lot of wood chips. No problem.
And just like that, we're seeing Randon goes to 16, and Paul will be tapping in for a bogey. So that two-stroke, oh, not even a tap-in. Holy cow. It's worse than I thought, Hannah. Okay, so he does get the bogey, but if you look at the scores, they are all knotted up at 16 under.
Yeah.
And MJ will dip to 13 under. Thank you to all my Patreon subscribers and supporters. But hole 12, this is an easy one, isn't it?
Par 3, 235 feet. Yeah, this was the hole that I started on, and it was real fun to start with a birdie 2 days in a row. Yeah, just the trick here is, oh shoot, let me remember what Paul said. So on the tee pad, we noticed that Randon is walking up straight. What a lot of the time I saw a lot of people doing, and what the TD and course designer want you to do, is walk up right to left, because what that does is it brings the right side into play, because you're trying to throw that like straight to Anheuser angle to give yourself the distance. When you bring in the right side of the fairway, Paul was telling me that that's where all the trees are, and that's where all the trouble is. So you don't throw it perfectly. There's like no way that you're getting it into the green. And I saw a lot of guys warming up on this hole, and they were throwing that line, hanging something out right, letting it hyzer back in. They were hitting all of the trees on the right. So you just really want to hit somewhere up there, let the disc do the work, have it, throw something a little bit wider rim, let it move towards the basket, and walk away with your birdie. You wouldn't think on a hole like that to really just throw the hyzer, but it is so short that anyone really can do it. If I can do it, you guys can do it, I promise.
You can do it. Oh, no. Evan not getting out of that right side rough in a clean fashion. So he's got a little bit more work to do. And with the way this, I think they call it the Medusa tree, with the way all of the limbs and branches and trunks hang out there, it's just, you want to be to the right of it so you don't have to deal with any of those trunks.
Playing up those 2 random oddballs.
Easy birdies for these guys.
Yeah, the 3 birdies collectively maybe 15 feet away from the pin. So everybody will pick up the birdie, and Evan struggles. Big shout out to Ish of Down South Disc. Thank you for all the support.
Moving on to hole 13, par 3, 260 feet. They've been throwing this scramble shot pretty much all day, so maybe 100 feet more, but just a quick line, straight line, and then let the disc fade out right. I'm expecting them all to throw forehands, except for MJ. I don't really think he's much of a forehand guy. I think he likes that backhand shot a little bit too much. I know you know, so blink twice if he throws a forehand. I'm just kidding.
Well, that was a good shot there by Randon, and that's, depending on how fast you come in, it can easily get away from you on the green.
Yeah, and this is, again, Paul stepping up with the zone and just not putting enough behind it. And it fades out just a little bit too early.
And MJ surprises everybody, does go with the
Yeah.
forehand and puts himself on the dance floor.
Yeah, he'll have a putt for birdie from there.
Evan just makes it look so easy. Getting that one to flip up just a little bit. Nice flat finish to it, as opposed to seeing the skip that we saw by Randon. Now, here's an opportunity for someone to really be committed and decide, hey, am I going to try and make a hero shot, or am I just going to try and put this next to the pin? Well, looks like he was going for the hero shot. There's no layup in Paul there whatsoever.
I don't think he knows any other way.
Evan quickly taps in, and Paul's got this left for his par.
Yeah, big tester putt. Looks to be about circle 2, circle's edge. Great height on that. You can hear the gallery in the background. That's nice. Nice to have fans back.
Wow, and Randon, who's been so solid on the green, doesn't capitalize with the birdie look.
Take notes on Michael Johansen's mental game, because he has short-term memory if I've ever seen it on the disc golf course.
Yeah, and such a compliment really to him in the sense that he could be 12 over or 12 under. And same
yes,
tone,
same energy,
same demeanor.
He's 12 over.
Well, okay.
I don't know
if he's ever seen 12 over, but just incredibly gracious, humble, just an all-around great presence on the course.
Yeah.
There is a lot to be said of him and his mental game, as you said. Big shout out to Midi Disc Golf out of the Milwaukee area.
We're moving on to one of my favorite holes on the course. This tiny little island hole that is an island, and it's like a little jump putt for a lot of these guys, but it's so much fun, and it's one of those must-get birdies. And this is the play that I assumed that we might see out of these guys. Just a little standstill approach, but this wind, I mean, it's enough to get in your head for sure. Oh my goodness. Great shot. And I love that they've wood chipped the entire area. And I also like that it's red wood chips. It's just a nice touch. But what that does is it slows your disc down completely, so that if you do get onto the island, you're not skipping off. You're getting rewarded because of your good shot.
I was ready to record maybe one of the first ever jump putt aces, but it looks like Paul disappointed me.
Yeah, it's hyzered out a bit too quickly. Lunas are overstable putters, so.
And just like that, all 4
Maybe
guys
if
on
if it were Paige Pierce, maybe
Yes.
she would have had a little bit more.
straight.
Yeah.
All 4 guys on the island. And Randon momentarily pulls ahead, and Paul says don't go too far. They remain knotted up here at 18. And a star frame here on hole 14. Kind of what you'd expect from the best of the best at the tournament. Big shout out Upstate Disc Golf Club, our host here at this event. As we move over to hole number 15, got to do a little shot shaping here.
Yeah, hole 15, 285, par 3. A lot of trees to contend with, and even when you get into the green, there's a lot of guardians to deal with, but same thing to be said, if you can just keep it on the right line.
Oh, yeah.
Gets it a little bit too far right.
Good.
Yeah, Evan missing his line there by being that high and to the right.
You're fine there.
And we saw in the MP40 coverage that somebody actually found the OB deep of this pin.
Wow.
So that is something to consider.
Both those things.
I did that last time.
Yeah, I like this play by MJ. So he takes something a little bit less stable and he puts it on a nice hyzer. And as it comes out and starts to flex, it's continuing to move forward, which is really nice because you're avoiding the trees. And that's a lesson that you definitely learn when you're playing in the woods.
Yeah, I short it over. I do it all the time on here. You hope you go inside enough.
And Paul here considerably short on one of the easier holes on the course.
Yeah, and you're seeing those OB stakes behind the basket. Bit of an Easter egg hunt here on hole 15.
The right color and everything. This is Evan. Started the round at 9 under, so he's 3 under so far during the second round. Losing a little ground to his other card mates.
Great run from Evan, just a little low. And Randon is safe, correct? And he is just taking relief from the OB.
Yeah, actually, because he's to the left, I'm not sure if the OB even comes in on that left side. I know it's
okay.
directly behind the basket. I'm not sure if it even comes into play on the left side. But either way, I know he's safe.
Oh, that was such a good bid, too. But he barely even used his legs there. I mean, the way he was staggered was so awkward that he didn't even get to use his legs. He just used his whole arm and played pass with the basket.
Hole 15 is the 6th most easy hole, or should I say the 6th easiest.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I get for trying to be fancy and saying, instead of saying the 12th most difficult.
It's okay. I love that you have the stats.
Words are difficult sometimes. Randon is,
Good recovery.
yeah, again, however, knows that he let another one slip by.
I wish they wouldn't have cut some of the corners and cleaned out some of the stuff they did. It's a little easier than it once was. But kind of taking it where it's not quite gold up almost.
And we're going to move back across the water, a little creek, over to hole number 16. This is a must-get birdie.
Yeah, this is another short one. Mando tree to the right. 195 feet, par 3. OB all to the left and past the basket. As you'll see, like those stakes now to the right of the screen. A lot of trouble that can happen, but I mean, it's really just a mental obstacle at this point. If you can ignore and block out all of that stuff, you can do what MJ did. Just get yourself an easy birdie.
Yeah, and that's, I think, a great way to put it. We know everyone that's playing an MPO can throw a 195-foot shot. It's just a matter of hey, don't overthink how easy this hole really is.
Yeah, and I would say my advice for someone on this hole would just be to pretend that they're scrambling or that they're throwing their second shot. I don't know what it is about tee pads, but they can mess people up for no reason. They get all in your head, everyone's watching you, and just pretend like you're already on the fairway and you're just throwing your second shot up to the basket.
Fish last round.
It helps me, that's for sure.
Sounds like great advice, as MJ will be the...
I'm just giving all this advice. People are like, Hannah, shut up.
No, I'm thinking that. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. What? It's
Great putt for MJ. Always the fan favorite.
We're trying to line up another star frame. And speaking of stars, Dustin, Dylan, Todd, Brian, so many people all helping make this event possible. Thank you to all of you guys.
Oh, your camera crew.
The camera crew, the TD crew, Dustin with the drone.
Well, you were just saying names, and I wasn't sure who you were talking.
These guys are incredible.
Yeah, the crew did awesome for this event.
No, they've been very respectful. You good?
Yeah, we're going to move on after we take a brief snack break with some double G jerkies. Second to last hole, 250 feet.
Hole 17, par 3, 250 feet. And this is where that MJ shot that we saw earlier, that hyzer with something a little less stable, comes into play. You just want to keep it up high and let the disc do all the work, start to fade out. Looks like MJ's going with some sort of a putter. But yeah, it gets it up nice and high, and as it comes out of that hyzer, it just continues to push forward. And I mean, yeah, that's exactly what you want to do.
Yeah, what I found it interesting over the number of rounds I've covered on hole 17 is we see sharp discs, we see mids, I've seen putters. Every one of them have been successful just about. I think we are also 12 for 12, or now 14 for 14 for discs that get near the basket that actually stay right there. Somehow nothing is rolling, and I've been so really amazed by that.
Wow. A great shot. Yeah, they're doing exactly what you want. Just hyzer something, let it start to fade out of that, and continue to push forward onto the green. Paul's going with, looks like a Luna, maybe a Tour Series Luna. He'll have to scramble from there. I know he can make that, but it's not what he wanted.
No, definitely in an awkward position. He's looking uphill from deep in circle 2. And his other 3 card mates are parked.
Great scramble. Again, glad to have the birdie, but knowing Paul, he's frustrated that that's how he had to get it.
I don't think too many people would be anxious to hand over the box of tissues to wipe up those birdie tears, but you're right, he is a perfectionist.
I don't think MJ would anytime soon. I mean, he made MJ's putt look weak, and that was a good putt.
Just one hole left to go. Randon now just trying to maintain that tie with Paul. He can convert.
It's a little softer than it once was.
Big shout out to Tony Boyko and Sail On Enterprises. If you need any computer or website help, he's your guy. He's my guy, so he should be your guy. Finishing out on 18.
Hole 18, par 4, 510 feet. Guys are just trying to get somewhere near this opening and then have their second shot clear of any obstacles. Don't see a single tree in that fairway, but plenty in this part of it. Yeah, I like that line. Just and put something on an Anheuser line, let it hyzer out, and head toward the gap. These fairways look relatively simple on screen, but in person, I mean, there is so much that can go wrong.
Oh, and just when Randon thought he was going to be clear, he gets pulled back in.
Yeah.
And a few feet on this fairway might as well be 50.
Thank you. That is what I was trying to say.
No, it, as you said, looks easy. But
I'm
if
a
you get
first
hung
timer.
up, if you get hung up, it very much can take away options. And so Randon's now got work to do. And we saw it looked like it was just about to land in the middle of the fairway. That last branch caught him and then brought him back.
Yeah. Fortunately, this is a par 4. So, worst he'll get is most likely par, but... Oh my goodness. That was incredible. Wow.
You really could not throw a better recovery shot from where he
I
was.
don't even know how to commentate on a shot like that. Is that what this feels like?
I think a lot of people say wow a lot.
Yeah. That was just great how the wind picked that up and carried it.
Perfect there.
You guys didn't see that one?
Evan showing the veterans here the local routes.
And of course, MJ just making it look easy. Slows it down, but he'll still have a putt. Paul a little bit off to the right of the fairway.
Sounds like he catches a limb or something on the way out. Still has a look for birdie.
It's really funny because the tournament that Paul competed in prior to this one was the Dynamic Discs Open, and those courses could not have been more different. So watching him have to like navigate all these different lines, he's definitely used to the wind, but these short, tight, and technical lines are so different than what he just competed on.
Well, we're watching some
Oh,
great
great
golf.
finish for MJ.
Yeah, MJ started the round at 9 under, so he shoots a 10 for the day. He's at
Wow.
19 under, just one stroke off of Paul,
Well done.
one stroke off of Randon. Here's Evan.
That's really good, yeah.
Yeah, just we've all been there.
Well, in such poise, I can't say enough about Evan. In fact, I think I'm going to have an interview that you're going to be able to listen to shortly after this, because I was so impressed with watching Evan for the first time.
This is when you want to make use of your 30 seconds.
And Paul was looking at me, wondering if I'm recording and if I've got him on the clock. And we'll say he uses 29 and a half of them, and that works.
Well, the worst he can get right away is a courtesy, and it's hole 18, so I think he's okay.
If you're advocating for cheating, we've
Yeah,
got
not the
another
most
problem.
sportsmanship advice I've ever given, or sportsmanlike advice I've ever given. But
Well, anything else? This is your first time commentating. Any final thoughts here as we're closing it out?
yeah, I'm super impressed with Randon and Evan, as you said, young and up and coming. We've obviously seen Randon on some of your coverage before, being that he's down in Florida, throw down the mountain, but Evan, I've never seen him compete before, and I really liked his composure. I think playing along men like Michael and Paul, that helps. Like, they are a good example of what a good mental game should look like, how to maintain your composure. So I think he's got a bright future ahead of him if he can continue to just train, practice, learn something, and just keep training that mental game.
All right, guys, that's round number 2. We'll see you on Sunday for round number 3. Thanks for joining us, Hannah. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I'm the Disc Golf Guy, and that was my video blog. I just had the pleasure of filming for my first time Evan Scott, right, Evan?
Yeah.
You got some serious game.
Thank you.
Give us a little backstory real quick. We just got done watching you play. You were on the lead card at this A tier. Give us a little backstory.
I had a good round this morning. Got some putts to go in for the most part. Super excited to get to play on the lead card here. That was definitely cool.
And you're younger,
16.
16. All right, how long you been playing?
About 5-6 years, since I was 10, I think.
Okay, so here you are on this A tier lead card, playing with Paul McBeth, Michael Joe, some of the best. Now, are you your Discraft Underground? Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's that like playing with some of the Discraft's biggest stars, playing up against them?
That's pretty cool, especially for with Paul. I've looked up to him for my whole time I've played disc golf. He's always been my favorite, so that was super cool to get to play with him.
Is there anything that you felt like you learned from this this particular round, or no?
I think I definitely need to work on being consistent. Because you watch like Paul and MJ, they're always, every time's a good shot. Like they'll very, very rarely have a bad shot. So I think just need to work on that.
So what are some of your goals or aspirations? You've got a relatively earlier in your career, and you're still very young. What are a few of your goals and aspirations in disc golf?
I'd like to get full-time on tour, just where I can go around, play disc golf for a living. That'd be super cool.
And are we going to see you at pro tour events, national tours?
I might be going to Ledgestone, and I'm probably going to Music City this year. But hopefully next year and the year after that, I'll start doing more of a tour.
All right. Well, it's been pretty incredible to watch. You'll dip a little bit off this lead card, but what can we look forward to in rounds 3 and 4? What's your plan?
Just going to try to keep playing well, hopefully get back on the lead card for final round.
All right. Well, this is the young gun. He's doing some pretty impressive things. It was a pleasure watching. Thanks to Down South Disc, thanks to Evan and the rest of the crew out here. That's how all of this coverage is happening here this weekend. We'll see you at the next round.